Welcome in. Jeremy Popielarz here with you. As always, it is week 4 of the NFL season. We may be 0-3. We may be 3-0. Either way, we have a lot of injuries out there. We've probably a plethora of questions. I have had a ton already this morning over on X, and I will try to catch up on those on this broadcast, as well as answer all the new questions that any of you have to drop in. So if you are tuning in, YouTube, drop the question in the comments. X, drop the question on the comment as well. I should be able to pull both of those up and we can go ahead and get those answered for you today. Obviously, like I said, we have a plethora of injuries going on and stuff to monitor as we head forward. Deebo Samuel expected to play. Kamara's expected to play. Deontay Johnson expected to play. We're looking at a lot of these guys getting their opportunities. Keenan Allen back in the lineup. Jordan Love should be back in the lineup. George Kittle and Kenneth Walker. The list goes on and on. So good news for us as fantasy managers, but also bad news because now we've got to try to figure out which ones we're starting and which ones we trust the team doctors. Let's be honest here, because they like to lie to us. But either way, I'm going to try to decipher that for you. Hopefully both of us, as you, the manager, me as the assistant, can help you go ahead and make the correct start sit choice, and we can get some wins this week. So let's not hold off too much longer here. And let's go ahead here. We got the first one in here from KL. We've got Cooper, Christian Kirk, or Rashid Shaheed, half-point PPR pick one. I'm going Amari Cooper here. I don't know if we should expect what we got last week out of Amari Cooper. It's kind of one of those blow-up Amari Cooper type of games, but it's a good matchup against the Raiders. I think that this game should be kind of back and forth-ish. The Raiders are missing a lot of pieces on defense as well this week. So I'm going to go with Amari Cooper. I think that the Browns can take a little bit of advantage there through the air. We got Carl on here, 12-man with tight end Evan Ingram out again. Should I start Strange or Gesicki? So I'm going to go Brenton Strange here. Gesicki's going to start to be one of those boom or bust type of tight ends now that Higgins is back in. We already saw it last week. Higgins saw some red zone targets, just wasn't able to convert. Isovia saw some red zone targets. Like, they have a lot of options in Cincinnati. Additionally, I do expect this game to be kind of that revenge game narrative a little bit, but I do think Cincinnati can maybe, I don't know. I should probably not trust the Bengals at this point, Carl, but I'm going to trust them a little bit. I think they get out enough to where we see a little bit of moss against Carolina today. So I'm going to go Brenton Strange. I think he's got an opportunity to find the end zone at least. Give us low end tight end one numbers potentially here. Just a better system. Jacksonville likes to target the tight ends in the red zone. Fred, good morning, Fred. Do you expect Kareem Hunt to eat up a chunk of Carson Steele's snap count? Not really. I think that we see Hunt get involved, but we saw Kareem Hunt last year too. Like, he's over the hill. He's not Kareem Hunt, what he used to be. Still a viable NFL running back for teams in need, much like the Chiefs at this point in time, but not people that we're really going crazy about in fantasy. Obviously, you fall in the end zone, you're going to be a really good fantasy asset that week, but I think they still want to give Carson Steele a good amount of touches. He did well last week. Neither of these guys excite me, to be honest. They kind of just makes this really muddy, murky backfield that I'm just kind of avoiding as much as possible. So don't think it's a chunk. I mean, obviously he's going to eat some of it, but I don't think like a major chunk to the point I think that you're getting at here, Fred, of like really capping either of them. They kind of like are just meh at this point in time. Nikki Banks here, Trey Tucker or Roshan Johnson. I'm going to go Roshan here. The Raiders, I know Devontae Adams is out, but the Cleveland secondary, although they've been kind of exposed here early on thus far, is a solid secondary. And I do kind of expect Trey Tucker not to be super involved. So I'm going to go with Roshan. I think there's a better chance he finds the end zone against the Rams. You're welcome, Carl. KL, you are welcome. It is not a Ray Rice jersey in the background, KL. It's a J.K. Dobbins jersey. I was well, still am a huge J.K. Dobbins guy. But it was a Baltimore jersey. Got it when he first came in the league. And then, we've all seen the injury derailment there. Go Browns. Hey, hopefully, I can, as you can tell, the Bills stuff in the background. I can sympathize with the Browns fans. I get it. Obviously, everything off the field and blah blah blah. But as far as a Browns fan go, I could hope for them to finally get something going there. James, is Roshan Johnson worth a gamble? Team taking on a bigger role? Yes and no. It really would depend on where and who else your options are here, James. I put him on a lot of my teams as well. Already, I had definitely had to get him in some because I had DeAndre Swift in some of my redraft leagues, basically for security. But at this point in time, this week I have Roshan at 36, so not super promising really for a fantasy output. Running back 36 is not a lot of points in my opinion. There's a chance he gets in the end zone. So yes, it might be worth it, but it depends on who you're going up against. For example, like Nikki here with Trey Tucker, like I'm going to take the running back and go with Roshan in that situation. But if you're talking about, players like Jerome Ford or Carson Steele or Cam Akers, like I'm probably leaning the direction away from Roshan, at least here in week 1 of the bigger role. Camille need 1 wide receiver and 2 flex spots. Ridley, Waddle, Pittman, Quentin Johnson, Michael Wilson, Chuba Hubbard, Spears, Akers. 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. So I will go Waddle. I think that this passing attack for Miami is much better with Tyler Huntley. He's proven to be an NFL caliber quarterback. Skylar Thompson is not. So I think Huntley will help get the ball to these playmakers. It is a weak Tennessee secondary. It has improved this year, but still a secondary that can be beat in the speed of Waddle and Tyreek Hill. I think, as long as you get them the ball in a decent area, they should be able to make a play. So I'm going to go there at your wide receiver. Flex spot and 2 flex spots. So Chuba Hubbard's going to take up one of those for sure. I like his spot this week. And then I would say, Camille, either go Michael Wilson, who's in a really good spot. Well, actually, I would go Chuba Hubbard and Ridley. So play Ridley, Waddle, and Chuba Hubbard. Now that I think about it, Ridley, again, it's kind of going to be one of those back and forth likely games there in Miami. So I'm going to go that direction of going with the Whittle. Put them together. Ridley and Waddle combo, and then Chuba Hubbard is a really good, strong flex spot, especially in half PPR. James, what do you think of Isovias versus Addison coming back? I'd go Addison. Minnesota Green Bay should be an interesting game. Isovias is very touchdown dependent, and T. Higgins got the first crack, even on the time that Isovias scored the touchdown. Higgins had the opportunity to make the play like 1 or 2 plays ahead of that. So, not totally in on Isovias. I think he's a decent player if you had to some of those deep like dynasty leagues where your roster isn't great. But Addison is a guy that I think coming back off the injury, I think that he kind of assumes the nailer role that we saw the past few weeks, which has been pretty viable. So I'm going to go that direction there for you. Gil, Rashid Shaheed or Jennings. I'm going to go with Shaheed. We've got Ayuk's back, Kittle's back, Debo's back. Jennings is going to fall back off. Maybe he sees a little bit of remnants after a big game, but I'm going to go with Shaheed there for you, Gil. Reset season need a tight end. Most low end are available on waivers. Conklin, Hill, Strange, Fant, Parkinson, Kraft, Otten. Leaning Conklin. I'd lean Conklin as well. Although I'm probably still starting Garrett Wilson in most situations. It's a tough matchup for him against Surtain, and tight ends can make some hay here against Denver. We saw that Aaron Rodgers, and we know Aaron Rodgers will pass to whoever is open, and Tyler Conklin could be in store for another pretty big week here. If you didn't love the Tyler Conklin play, I would also say maybe Brenton Strange, just because of the usage from the offense as a whole. Also, reset season, Bears, Dolphins, Raiders. I would go Bears there because the Raiders are missing a lot of pieces, and the Dolphins they're not that good at this point. I get it's Will Levis in Tennessee, but I would go with the Bears. Courtney, Keenan Allen or Christian Kirk? I'm going to go Christian Kirk. We saw him kind of bounce back a little bit there last week from what we've seen in weeks prior, kind of getting a little bit closer to what he has been in the past. And Keenan Allen just coming off the injury. We've seen Odunze kind of, I don't know if he's necessarily stole the role from Keenan Allen at this point in time, but kind of a wait and see there with Keenan Allen. I'll go with Christian Kirk for now, Courtney. Nikki's Xavier Worthy, Brandon Allen, or Bucky Irving. I'm probably gonna go Bucky Irving, and yeah, Bucky Irving. I really want to say Braylon Allen because I do think that he gets involved here, but Xavier Worthy has a plethora of upside in the game. Yeah, I'm gonna go Braylon Allen and Bucky Irving. Nikki, those are probably my two. I wouldn't hate if you want to put Xavier Worthy in though over Braylon Allen, but I lean the running backs there for you, Nikki. Nick Toots, Jaden Reed, or Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson all day, every day. This Arizona matchup is prime for him. I think that he'll be in a good spot. I'm going to go with him. Reed, I do kind of like, but it is against a tough Minnesota defense that has been just shredding teams in the early part of this season. Phil Witter, Dobbins, or Rashad White. Oh boy, that's a tough one. JK, as much as we like them, they are missing probably some tackles against a tough Kansas City front. So I'm probably going Rashad White here, as inefficient as he has been. A little bit easier of a matchup against Tampa Bay. Also has the benefit of the plethora of passing down works. So I am going to go ahead and go with Rashad White there for you. Gill, Tutu Atwell. Again, Jennings, once, Debo and IU, Kittle are all back, it's going to fall off a bit for Jennings. So I'm going to go back to Tutu Atwell there. Shield, JSN, or T. Higgins. I'm going to go T. Higgins there. Double check. I believe that's right. They're really close in my rankings. So let me double check so I'm not giving you incorrect advice. There it is. Yeah, I got T. Higgins still ahead of JSN there. Close, but I'm going to go T. Higgins. Like I said, I think he's got a chance to find the end zone. Roshan was up against Isovias or Quentin Johnson for my flex, so that's why I wish it a 3. I'd either go Johnson or Johnston, so either QJ or Rojo. Here, James, I lean towards Johnston. I just think that the matchup they're gonna have to throw, and it appears that Quentin Johnston is just going to be a guy now. So I'm in a little bit on Quentin Johnston. I was pretty out on him as far as the dynasty asset went. Just his rookie year was atrocious, but he's looking better, we'll say. So I would go with Johnston or Roshan, I guess. Johnston's got the upside. Rojo is going to get you probably at least 4 points. At least, I guess. But if he falls in the end zone, now we're talking 10 or 11. So that's where the big swing can be. But Johnson's been a touchdown hog at the moment as far as receivers go in Los Angeles, but they are getting Palmer back this week. So that could be a little bit of a change in Quentin Johnston's usage. So again, between those two, I lean to Roshan, but Quentin Johnson would be like your upside type of play. Tanner Moss, need one flex, Amari Cooper, Najee Harris, JSN, Jaden Reed, or Jerome Ford. I would go Amari Cooper, who is followed very closely by Najee Harris as a second. Indy can be ran on. I know Jalen Warren should give us a little bit extra Najee work. I'm sure Coraldo Patterson is going to be a thing this week, but yeah, I still lean Amari Cooper. I think that we're going to see not what we saw last week, but still a very productive fantasy day from Amari Cooper. You are welcome, Gil. You are welcome, Reset Season. One more. If Olave plays, you start him, have him at flex, but have Odunze, Bucky, T. Higgins, and Akers to play instead. I'd probably play T. Higgins, to be honest. The Falcons secondary is not great, but it's better than other teams. Majority of the league, will say. So I would probably play T. Higgins, who's in a really good matchup against Carolina. I think Higgins finds the end zone this week. So I'm going to go with him. Odunze, I'm kind of on a waiting pattern. Yeah, it was really great, and it has been great, but we get Keenan Allen back. Like, what does that look like? Also, if you really want to go like super safe, Cam Akers, like I think Cam Akers scores again. He's going to give us similar to what we had last week. Not great, but just kind of like a safe play. But I think T. Higgins is probably my play there overall. You're welcome, Shield. X Eric Gill, is there a pick? Are there picks and props video coming out today? I would assume yes. If it usually does, yes. I have been preparing for this show, so I'm not 100% sure what they're dropping. But if it's something that is normally out, which I believe it is, Eric, it will be here. All righty. We got some questions that will start to catch up here. The new questions have slowed up a bit here. So we're going to go ahead. We'll hit some of these older questions. Here, let's see here. Oh boy, we got to scroll. Good old Twitter. Wish Twitter would just like start you in the notifications where you left off. It'd be really helpful. Austin Williams here on X, Anthony Richardson or Aaron Rodgers. I would go Richardson. It's been rough. It's been a rough go. Much of what I expected when he was coming into the league, kind of a very raw passer. But Rodgers, I think that it's just going to be kind of a lot of running backs in the second half against Denver here for the Jets. So Richardson, I think a little bit closer game, could potentially get that rushing touchdown this week as well. So I'm going to go with Richardson there. Ryan trades, pick one, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Amari Cooper. I'd go Deontay there. Really close. It's a good receiver room. Surprising that you can't start more of those there, Ryan. But I'm going to go DJ. Corey Vandieres on X. Should I sit Olave for Darnell Mooney? No, I would play Olave there. DCM, McLaurin or Amari. That would be Cooper for me. Let me know too what is up. Joining us here on YouTube. Start Kittle or Akers PPR. I'm going Kittle. Yeah, just go Kittle. I think the 49ers put up some points. I think Kittle could find the end zone potentially this week. I'm going to go with George Kittle there. Hey, better JSN, Amari Cooper, or Ken Walker for flex. I will go Amari Cooper there for you. Hey, better. Again, I don't know if it's the same week we got last week, but I do think Amari Cooper has a pretty solid week this week against the Raiders. And JSN's a good spot start. But you always have that worry of like, is it Tyler Lockett's week? Is it DK Metcalf's week? Also, Ken Walker's back, who's also an option here for you. So, like, let's see how this offense looks. We know what Amari Cooper's going to be. He's going to get peppered. Deshaun Watson can't throw to anybody but one player. So, it's probably going to be Amari Cooper yet again for another week. Joseph Chaney, trade my Adams, DJ Moore, AR for Murray, AJ Brown, Jamison Williams. Still have, all right, we're not going to handle that one, Joseph. I'll come back to that when it's less important to do start sits. Chris Scansisi, Brian Robinson, or Josh Jacobs. That one is B-Rob for me this week. Don't hate Jacobs this week, but Robinson's in a good smash spot there against Arizona. Gill, Braylon Allen, or sneaky start Patterson. No, do not go with Patterson. Do Braylon Allen for sure. Like I said, I think the Jets are up pretty well, and we know you can run the football against the Denver Broncos. And I think Braylon Allen and Breece Hall both have themselves a pretty good day. Big Cheese on X, need 3 wide receivers: Christian Watson, Brian Thomas Jr., Michael Wilson, and Drake London. Pretty easy here for me. That is London, Brian Thomas Jr., and Michael Wilson. Big Cheese, you should know that about me by now. Never start Christian Watson. Pickens or Reed here for the real more heezy. That is George Pickens. Pickens is in another really good spot against, again, an Indy secondary that is just, trash cans. Let's just be honest. So I think Pickens could have a pretty good day. Drew is your uncle on X. Steele, Myers, Pittman, Javante, Flex. That's tough. I'd hate to be here. I really thought Michael Pittman would be better than he was, and he is not. So here we are. I'll go Myers. It's bleh, it sounds and feels, but I'll go Jacoby Myers. We got Pinocchio here, Jordan Love or Geno Smith. I'll risk with Jordan Love. Mobility is going to be an issue. It's Brian Flores led Vikings defense, and I'm gonna go that route as opposed to Geno. And why I said Bears is Bears or KC defense here for let me know too. I'm gonna go with the Bears. Yeah. Going with the Bears. We got Daniel Malum here, Irving or Dobbins. My goodness, this is tough. I'm gonna go Dobbins. I know they're missing some offensive linemen. It's a tough matchup, but I'm gonna do it. Alphalea here, Alpha Lafla, Epiers or Hale, Dalton or Caleb Williams. I'll go Caleb. Keenan Allen's back, give him a little bit of plus there on Caleb. Although Dalton, revenge game, I get it. I do. Dylan Fink, what's up? Need helpful PPR, all different leagues. Start one of Andrews are likely. So it's going to be Andrews at 1. Start 2 would be Akers, Waddle, or Jennings. I'll go with Jalen Waddle. And Akers, if that's I'm a little confused by your question here, but I think it's so your second one would be Waddle, then Akers, then Jennings, in case you have to start 2. Start 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex. So it would be Monty and Walker be my running backs. Tight end would be likely. And your flex would be Michael Wilson for me there, Dylan. And then start 1 quarterback, Mayfield or Richardson or Caleb. Start 2 of the running backs. So the running backs are Jacobs and Walker. And your quarterback would be Mayfield, would be my play there, Dylan. Whew. Bradley works his way as a start flex. No. Close, but no. This week, yes, kind of. Against Denver, I think that the Jets are up a little bit. I think that he'll see some run in the second half, much like kind of what I thought was going to happen last week. So a similar stat line to what we have last week against New England's probably what you get from Braylon Allen this week. So I guess depending on who else you have, maybe he's a flex. But I don't think you should expect like a lock for 10 points, we'll say, to put him as like a must-start flex type of player. Aaron Kennedy on X, start 3, half PPR, Gibbs, Connor, Mason, Rice, Harrison. Also need to cut 1 for a kicker. Okay, so your start 3 would be Harrison, Rice, and Mason. And then need to either cut Pittman, Thomas Jr., Irving, or JSN. I'd probably cut Brian Thomas Jr. just because of the wide receiver depth. That would be probably my play there, Aaron. That was a little confusing. Okay, we got Rob Boldick here on X. Need to pick 3 for half point PPR. So we've got either Pickens, Shakir, London, Kirk, Bowers, or Kincaid. So it'd be Pickens, Shakir, and Bowers for me. David Logo, full PPR league. Who should I start? Kirk or Addison, Bears or Saints? I would go Kirk and Saints. Or no, I'm gonna go Bears. Yeah, Bears. Debo O'Roshan and Superflex here for Beers Heel. That is Debo. Let's not force the issue there on JSN. Whoa, what is going on here? Dun, 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 dun. Sorry, scrolling, we lost our spot here. It was doing well. And then all of a sudden, it said no. Okay. Geno Smith or Anthony Richardson. I would go Richardson there. Mako, Odunze, Kirk, McConkey, or Sutton. I would go Kirk. Doesn't say how many you need. Raxel 1, do I start Hurts without 2 of his weapons or start Caleb instead? Also, do I start Hill? Hurts, and yes, play Tyreek Hill. Ford or Mooney for Kill a Mike. That will be Ford. No, we'll play White. Let's see here. Herbert or Cousins 4-point touchdowns. That would be Kirk. Cousins for me. Let's see here. Ertz, Parkinson, Taysom Hill would be Ertz for Just a Gym Teacher on X. I like that matchup for the Commanders today. Caleb Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Brandon Ayuk would be Amari Cooper there. We got G Swizzle, 2K2K, Moore, Moss, or McLaurin. I'm going to go Moore. Kyle's me money, quarterback help. Fields, Darnold, or Love. I'm going to go Fields there for you. Hale Vog, Geno Smith, or Jordan Love would be Jordan Love there. And then Ertz or Conklin. Ooh, that's a close one. I'm going to go Conklin there. You're welcome, Kyle. Devontae Adams is out. Need to start one of Brian Robinson, Pickens, Ridley, Odunze. Note, I have more in my lineup already. Probably Brian Robinson or George Pickens would be my play here, David. I lean Brian Robinson. It's a pretty safe play. I think he finds the end zone this week. Pickens, though, could have a massive day. It's a good matchup against Indianapolis. So depends how risky you want to get. Brian Robinson, though, I think is a safe start with decent upside as well built into that. Matt Tate, Zamir White, or DeAndre Swift. I'll go DeAndre Swift. I know Roshan's going to get involved some more, but it's a decent matchup against the Rams. He still has pretty good usage, even if Roshan gets involved a little bit more. So I'll probably go there. I mean, Zamir White's basically losing his job to Alexander Madison, so it's not completely there. But the game script that I think happens this week kind of leans more to Madison than Zamir White. Jumping to Jehoshaphat, we got Justin Fields or Darnold. That would be Fields. Ken Walker, David Montgomery would be Monty. Then Ken Walker or Jerome Ford. I would go Walker there. And then Ridley or Odunze, I would do Ridley. Joseph Alfonso, start 3 at PPR. Walker, Reed, Pickens, or Shakir. So I got Pickens, Walker, Shakir. I'd actually just go Reed. I would just sit. I'd go with all the wide receivers there, Joseph. With it being PPR. Peter Garcia, Higgins, or Hill. My other 2 wide receivers are MJH or Rice. Just go Tyreek Hill, Peter. Don't get too crazy here. Snoop Huntley's going to help a lot. Trust me. Ken Walker or McLaurin as flex since Walker coming off an injury. I get it. I would go McLaurin, though. I get it. For sure. Dubes or Sutton for Katie Claiborne. That's tough either direction. I'm going to go Romeo Dubes there. Let's see here. Spider-Man start Ridley, Brian Thomas Jr., or Michael Wilson. I'll go Brian Thomas Jr. Should I be concerned with Olave's hamstring and start Garrett Wilson over him? No, I saw he's expected to play. He's gonna play. I mean, I'm gonna trust the team doctor. I know it sounds crazy because sometimes it doesn't always work out that way. But Garrett Wilson doesn't have a great matchup against Patrick Surtain today. So if Wilson obviously had a better matchup, yeah, slam dunk, start Garrett Wilson. But I would still risk it with Chris Olave personally. Francisco Olave and Johnston for PPR. I also have Jerome Ford, please, and thank you. You're welcome. And I would probably go Chris Olave. Johnson, yeah, we're hearing it's likely Herbert plays. They're missing some offensive linemen. Tough Chiefs defense. Don't love the math. Josh Palmer's back. Just mathing it out. It ain't loving Quentin Johnston today. But I would probably go Olave still. If you were really worried about the hamstring, I'd plug in Jerome Ford. The Raiders are missing some of their defensive linemen and some pieces on defense, so Jerome Ford could have a decent day. Braylon Allen or Bucky Irving. I would probably go Bucky Irving here. A little bit more of multi-use. Also, verbally, they've said they're going to use him more. So that could lead to some good usage there for Bucky Irving today. Good morning, Jackson. How are you doing? Thoughts on Brenton Strange? I think he's solid. I wouldn't say he's great, but it's tight end we're talking about. So depending on who else you have, I could easily make him a top 15 tight end and not even blink. So I'm fine playing Brenton Strange if you have to. You're welcome. Yeah, don't get too crazy here, Osanis Francisco. Don't galaxy brain it on us. I do it now than I am too. But I tend to trust the doctors. It doesn't always work out. But if they're telling me he's going to play, I'd assume he's healthy. Maybe that's me being naive about it, but that's my process. We got Addy Gunner for life on X. Start 2 running backs, Pollard, Ford, Irving, Steele, and Akers. Start 3 wide receivers. So the 2 running backs for me would be Pollard and Ford. And then start 3 wide receivers, JJ, Garrett Wilson, DK, Higgins, and Terry. So we'll go JK, DK, JJ, DK, and Higgins. And then start 1, Andrews, Komet, or likely I'll go Andrews. The Bills are weak against tight ends. The question is it going to be Andrews or is it going to be likely tonight? I'm leaning towards Andrews, but could be wrong. Could go either way with those. Flip a coin. Need to Wilson, Pickens, Shaheed, or Shakir. So I would go Pickens and Wilson. Let's see here. Achan, Bijan, Brees, JT, and Kyron. Let's see here. I would go with. I'll go Brees here. Four-man PPR is not a lot of players, and there's a lot of running backs there, Eric. These guys' running backs are Achan, Bijan, Brees, JT, and Kyron. But that's tough, man. Much we like to joke and say, "Oh, that's a great lineup," but like, yeah, you're playing in a 4. Like all the teams are like this, and like you have to pick the one that's going to go off because like everybody has people who are probably going off. So the 14 league might be really harder than we think. Mr. Kraft, Tyreek, or Garrett Wilson would be Tyreek. Jeff, Boston Sports JL, Superflex, 2 quarterback options. Do I start Carr against the Falcons or Kirk Cousins against the Saints? Got the quarterback duel. I'm going to go Carr. Yeah, I'll go Carr. Brock Purdy, Stan, Burrow, or Daniels. I'll go. Whoa, if I could spell /type here, I'll go Jayden Daniels. Oh, skipped one here, David. Do I start Jacoby Myers or Deontay Johnson over Cooper, McLaurin, Moore, or Cook? I would start Deontay Johnson over McLaurin or DJ Moore. Pick your poison. Yeah, but Deontay Johnson would definitely be in my lineup over either McLaurin or Moore. Not Cook. James Cook's gonna have a good day. Trust me. You are welcome. AY72. Tanner, pick 3 out of 4. DK Metcalf, Chase, Rashee Rice, Marvin Harrison. Jeez, Jesus, listen, a loaded team here, Tanner. Marvin Harrison and Rice, Chase. Yeah, those are 3. There you go. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Between Strange, Higgins, Jonnu, and yeah, I'd play Brent Strange there, Matt, for sure. Steve Pavia, Odunze over Garrett Wilson. Could he score more points than Garrett Wilson? 100%. I, however, will start Garrett Wilson because I want to see how Keenan Allen plays into this mold. It is a weak matchup against the Rams, but I'm probably just going to lean still towards Garrett Wilson because we know he's the guy. What? Who? Jeez Louises. Dust. Do I start Jacoby Myers? Oh, yeah, we got that one. Okay. Pick 2 wide receivers: Juwan Jennings, Sly McConkey, Isovius, and Dotson. McConkey is 1. The second, I will go, I guess, Jahan Dotson. I don't love any of them. I would either go Dotson or Isovius. Jennings, I don't like because Devo's back, Ayuk's back, Kittle's back. Like, We know who Juwan Jennings is when the whole team is healthy. So McConkey and Dotson would probably be my play here, David. Deontay Johnson or Pickens. What's up, Dylan? How's it going? I'd go Deontay Johnson for you there, DC. Better matchup, revenge game narrative for Andy Dalton. So why not? Roll with Deontay Johnson is my play. Man, that sneeze really did some things. David, what do you think the chances are Devontae gets traded in the season? And if yes, where do you think he goes? Yes. If I was Devontae Adams, I would definitely want to be traded. I have no idea. I don't know where he would go. My guess, I mean, there's been links with Washington, obviously wants to get somebody, obvious clear need. Depends on what he wants, I guess. You would probably assume he's going to have a pretty big say in that. Maybe you see him go to like a contender. Maybe you see, Baltimore could use a receiver. The Bills really don't need one. I doubt that they kind of made it clear they wanted to go to this plethora of receivers as opposed to one. So I don't know if that's really in the wheelhouse. The Jets could be an option, obviously. They really kind of need somebody behind Garrett Wilson. So there's a lot of options out there. I do think, though, at some point he may end up getting moved. With Love being active, should I give him one more week? I have two different leagues. One I have Caleb playing in the other, and I have Cousins, but the best one on the waiver wires is Rodgers, Carr, Stafford. So here's the issue. Love's also playing against Minnesota, which is like Brian Flores' defense that's just shredding quarterbacks right now. So that doesn't help us either. So I would probably play Caleb Williams against the Rams. And I'm fine playing Cousins as well, if you want to. I mean, I have Love ranked like one spot ahead of Caleb, and I think like two ahead of Cousins. So I still think Love could have a decent day because there's still familiarity with Green Bay to Minnesota. But this is a new defense for Green Bay. No mobility. Does scare me for Love coming back. Obviously, missing a few weeks, like up against this defense. So I'm fine going with the opposites of Caleb and Cousins as opposed to Love giving them a week. Steve, do you like the Titans defense or Eagles? I would go with the Titans if those are my only two options. Lee, Pickens, or DJ Moore? I'd go Pickens. I like the matchup against Indianapolis. We talked about a little bit earlier that they're just kind of arguably trash cans out there. I think that Fields will get Pickens the ball. I think Pickens could find the end zone today. Is there any hope for Anthony Richardson, or should I look to trade him away for assets and just play quarterback waiver wire game? I'm already starting Geno over Richardson this week. No, I'd hold out. I mean, Richardson's going to be an up and down battle. I mean, that's who he is. We kind of knew that. I think we anointed him this really great NFL quarterback quickly just because he was so good at fantasy early on, and that's just was never the case. When he came out of college, he was always a very inaccurate passer and didn't have many starts. So it's going to be a ride. It is. But I wouldn't. I mean, if you can trade him away and get good value, sure, trade him. I would never say don't trade anybody. But I'm thinking you're going to get the low end of the trade, and I don't think you'll have a lot of assets. So maybe feel the market, Matt. I get it. But I would kind of just ride it out for a little bit longer here, just because if it's one quarterback, like there's not a lot of value in Anthony Richardson at the moment. So at this point, you just got to kind of ride that train for now. Brian Avs fan can start two: Juwan Jennings, Deontay Johnson, Quentin Johnston, or Dortch. So that would be Johnson, and let's go with the double initials here: DJ and QJ for me there, Brian. Rob Mooring, pick 3, PPR, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Garrett Wilson, DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Nico Collins. That would be Nico, DJ, and Amon-Ra. Warrior Poet, Flex Spot, Kittle, Odunze, Jamison Williams. That one I'll go Odunze. Nania on X, pick 2, Romo Dunze, Jennings, or Kirk. Odunze and Kirk. Crazy to start Rome over Ridley with Allen most likely playing. No. All right, Tim here. Shakir, Kirk, or Ken Walker? I'd go Shakir. I think Shakir has a decent day. Tonight, Fred, JSN, or Khalil Shakir. I'll go JSN there, though. Full PPR for Tyreek, Jacobs, or Romo Dunze. Got to win this one. You got to go Tyreek here. Kane, you got to do it. I know. You got to do it. We need these wins, but you got to do it. David Jolson, 2 wide receiver and flex from DK, Higgins, JSN, Jerome Ford, JK Dobbins. So DK, T. Higgins are my 2. As far as flex goes, I'd probably go Jerome Ford there for you, David. David, again, different David, though. David Dembisky, Komet, Conklin are likely. It's between Conklin and likely. I will go Conklin, though. I do like the matchup for the tight ends against the Bills. The question is like Andrews or likely, which direction is it going to go? So I'll go Conklin, less worry. Whoa. Thoughts on Tucker Kraft or prefer Parkinson and Fant? This week specifically, Tucker Kraft, it might be tough against Minnesota. But Parkinson and Fant haven't been much better to begin with. I do know that they're all kind of like really close for me. Noah Fant less into against Detroit, but Kraft and Parkinson are back to back. Parkinson's probably a good option against a Bears secondary that's pretty good. So I would probably say I'd go Parkinson over Kraft, but they're literally back to back. I have Parkinson at 16 and Kraft at 17 for tight ends, Matt. So maybe flip a coin. But I lean Parkinson probably. Lee Strange or Parkinson, full point PPR. I'd go Brenton Strange. I got Brenton Strange in a good spot. I think he finds the end zone, which gets him to that low end tight end 1 numbers. So I'm going to go Parkinson there. Mike Sweeney, Cam Akers or Debo. I'm going to go Debo. I mean, I get it. But Cam Akers was last week even. And he just kind of fell in the end zone and helped us out a little bit. So I'm going to go Debo. I think that he has a better day. Tyler Hero's burner on X, Love, Richardson, or Caleb. I'll go Caleb there. It might be a week here for Caleb Williams against a bad Rams team. Devon, Achane, or Aaron Jones. I'll go Achane. And Deontay Johnson or Evans would be Evans for me. Ramondre Stevenson or Jacoby Myers. I'll go Myers there for you, Fabian on X. Tony Christensen, need 1 flex. Cooper, Addison, Judy, Lazard, Harris, Hubbard, or Steele. Oh, wow, that's a lot. I'll go actually Hubbard here. Park Ranger, Aaron Jennings, or Johnston. I'll go Johnston. Elijah Higgins or Conklin for that 816 dude. Conklin. Ken Walker or Roshan Johnson. I'm going to go Walker. Let's see here. Darnold, Fields, or Geno would be Fields for you here, Scott. Tony Christensen, Ayuk, or McLaurin. That would be McLaurin. Need one flex out of these. Chuba, Hubbard, Amari. Oh, man, that's a good grouping. That's going to be Deontay Johnson. DJ Moore or Quentin Johnston. Walter Sobachek. That's DJ Moore. Dennis Anicelli, Braylon Allen, or Swift. I'll go Braylon Allen. That sounds gross, but facts are facts. You are welcome, Mike. It's likely worth trading away. I mean, yeah. Everybody's worth trading if you get value. That's where I play. That's what I do. If I have a guy that I think can replace the player I want to trade and you can get a decent value, I'm in. I'm not going to give him away, though. Like, why? It's an advantage to have them if your opponent can't, if you're not getting a value to help you and your roster. Let's see here. Smurf, half PPR, pick 2, Jaden Reed, Debo Samuel, Garrett Wilson, or JSN. Worried about Debo rushing back too quick. And Sertan Wilson. Yeah, both of those are very good worries, Smurf. But I'm still playing Debo. I don't know if he's rushing back too soon. I don't think that, 49ers arguably need help, but they're fine. So I don't think they would rush him back against the Patriots. I'm assuming that he's good to go. So I'm going to probably play Debo and probably Jaden Reed. I don't love the matchup, but they're able to get him involved. If anybody, he's a little bit more matchup proof just because they kind of use him in a Debo Samuel way. So he still gets a little bit of manufactured touches and etc. So I would probably lead towards Jaden Reed and Debo Samuel there for you, Smurf. Was Joaquin Coleman or Chase Brown for Garundo? I have CMC sadly, but Mason as well to lock up the backfield or just ride it out. I'd ride it out with Mason. I mean, if you wanted to, I guess you could drop Chase. It would depend on what your roster looks like, Francisco. Like Coleman and Brown are good stash players, but they're not going to be anything for you for a bit as well, maybe ever this year. That's the struggle with these two. So if you have like a plethora of wide receivers, maybe drop Coleman for Garundo. But Garundo is only ever viable if Mason goes down. And even at that, I'm sure they bring kind of a split touch type of backfield into play here. So I'm probably just leaving Garundo on waivers and just, if something happened to Mason, you got to spend your bank on Garundo. And that's where you'll be at. 2 quarterback league, Dalton or Caleb Williams. I'd go Caleb there, Lee. I think that he's in a decent spot there against the Rams today. Jameson Williams or McLaurin for J Stacks. That's McLaurin for sure. Not even a doubt. I think we're good to go there with McLaurin. Hopefully it continues and stays what we saw last week. But Jameson Williams, let's be honest. Something's going to happen here. I've talked about it multiple times. Follow me on X. I've talked about they can't have 3 viable passing. Well, 4, because if you include Gibbs, there's too many mouths to feed in an offense that's not I know they were a high scoring offense, but they're more of a run first team, and that's what they want to do. So I'm going to go McLaurin. He's the guy in that offense, and hopefully Jane Daniels continues to ascend like he did on Monday night. Rory tips word. Pick 1 flex, Irving, Odunze, Roshan, or Atwell. Ooh, that's tough. Odunze is the highest upside, but Keenan Allen's coming back, so we're a little worried there. Roshan, we don't know what the backfield's going to be, so kind of meh, hold off on that. Bucky Irving now is going to get used more, and he's been floating around that 8-point range. So I guess it depends what you feel like you need. Do you need to swing for the fences? Then go Odunze, but it could be a bad day. Could give us a goose egg. I doubt that, but it might not be his best day. So either go Irving or Odunze, and I lean towards Irving. Oh, you're fine. Don't worry, Jay. It happens all the time. People always double up the comments. It's all right. I'm not gonna come running after you and be like, you double comment. No, I don't. Could care less. I can figure it out when I see 2 comments. Surprisingly, I can figure that one out sometimes. Happens though, like when they're like double commented and way far apart, and then sometimes I answer the question twice. It's a good time. Vibes, Zach Moss or Rashid Shaheed. Zach Moss. For me, there, vibes. Chris Hunyan on X, Ken Walker or Pickens. I'll go George EP there. Let's see here. White or Jameson. I don't know which White that is, but we're going with White. Matt on X. Palace Ash, Jordan Love or Jared Goff. That would be Goff for me. Dobbins or Rashad White for Phil. I'm going to go with White there. Pick 3 for Kevin Murphy from Pickens, St. Brown, Cooper, and Flowers. So I'm going to sit Flowers in that situation. Kevin, need help with the start sit question. Need to start 1 Akers, Ford, Lazard, or pick up Wilson. Lazard could be in a good spot. They do go on to say that here. All righty. Pick 3, Jennings, Worthy, Debo, Ridley, Reed. So that's Debo, Ridley, and Reed for me. Kyle Singer, Ford or Etienne. Etienne for me there, Kyle. Likely or Bretton Strange. I'd go Bretton Strange. Likely could have a massive day, though. I'm not going to lie to you, Matt. I know it's hard to trust him, but like the way to beat the Bills is the tight end position. But I will go Bretton Strange. Ken Walker or Akers for Calvin here. I'd go Walker. I just think a better chance he has a better day. Trey Fisher, Justin Fields, or Sam Darnold. This is a common one this morning. I'll go Fields. Let's see here. Elvendo, Blanco, Moss, or Najee. That's Najee. And Deontay or Garrett Wilson would be Deontay Johnson for me. Pick 2, Pickens, JSN, Rashad White would be Pickens and JSN. SVP winners, Debo or Pittman would be Debo, and ETN over Dobbins. Let's see. Would you say Tyreek Hill to start Rashid Shaheed? No, play Hill. Vibes, Kincaid or Andrews? I have Kincaid ahead of Andrews. Small amount, a little bit. I mean, tight end's just a flip a freaking coin at this point in time. They're just all the top ones are bad, all the bad ones are badder, and then there's one random good guy every week. That sums up the tight end position, right? So I will say I do have Kincaid slightly ahead of Andrews. I think there's more of a likelihood he finds the end zone than Andrews, which is basically all you kind of try to decipher when you're breaking down tight end ranks. It's just figuring out which one is going to find the end zone. D. Toro struggling with injury coverage, looking for 4th or 5th flex. I have Goddard starting at tight end. I have Kittle 2, plus Rashad White, Addison, and Mooney need to play 2 of those 4. So I'd play Kittle and Addison. David Rusfeld on X. Walker, Shaheed, Shakir, or Steele would be Shakir and Steele. Oh, wait a minute. Shakir and Walker. My bad, David. I was looking at something else. So we got Pollard, Shakir, or Jennings here for J2SX. Could be Pollard. Fields or Purdy for Colton would be Purdy. Jacqueline, I have to sit one of these. Thoughts? Gibbs, Connor, Henry, Evans, and Metcalf. Probably Evans. Could be the week he goes off. It's a week Philadelphia secondary, so that's the struggle that game you play there. But I have Gibbs, Connor, and Henry as top 12 running back options, which is like 17 points. Metcalf I have as like a 17-point player. Evans I have as like a 14. So you're really splitting hairs here, Jacqueline. But I would probably say Evans is the low man out. But that would probably be my play there. Rory, pick one flex, PPR. Odunze, Akers, Ertz, or Shaheed would be. Dunze probably there. Shane, I would go London over Shaheed. And then I would go Diggs here, Shane. David, do I hold on to Justin Tucker and hope he's not actually washed, or pick up someone like Zerline Prater? I mean, kickers are kickers. I'd probably just ride Tucker. Not the best as far as kicker breakdowns go here, David. I'm not going to lie to you. But defense, I would go. I don't mind the Vikings defense. I think they're going to be good going forward. So if you want to just ride them out this week, that's fine. I think they could have a good game against Love, though, too. So, but the Chiefs are a good one, too. I'd go either Vikings or Chiefs. So depending on how you want to go about that. You're welcome, Rory, and you're welcome, Shane. Joseph on here, make any changes? What do we got here? Higgins likely. No. I think you're doing all right there. Oh my goodness. Pick 2.5. So McLaurin and Kirk. So it's between McLaurin, Flowers, and Kirk. I'll go McLaurin and Kirk. I think I got those. Maybe not. Rory McRae, pick 2. B-Rob, JT, and Mason. Jeez Louise. It's a good running back room. I would go B-Rob and H-Chan. Got a bench 1 to put in Debo, Najee Harris, Moss, or ETN. It'd be Moss. B-Rob, Josh Jacobs would be B-Rob. Got Mason, Connor, Hall, and Williams right now. I sit Mason against the Pats and start the others. Right choice. If that's Kyron Williams, so I'm assuming it is, then yes. You are right to sit Mason. Steven, need help with the second flex spot, full PPR. Carson Steeler, Lad McConkey, or consider from waivers. I just play Lad, Steven. I think that's where I'm at with that one. John Nigen, love Purdy or Fields. Purdy, pick 2. Akers, Jacobs, Atwell, Johnson, BTJ, K9, or Leggett would be Jacobs, K9. There. CJ or Daniels here for Tobias, Ramondre or Chuba. CJ and Chuba. Higgins or Moss would be Higgins. So we got Jacobs over Jacobs, or do I start Pollard from Cass? I would go Pollard, and then choose 2 would be Debo and Pollard out of Flowers, Debo, Rashid, Shaheed. Cameron Joy, Shakir, or JSN. I would go Shakir. Jacob Rossminer, Goff or Love. I would go Goff there. JP, Braylon, Allen, Bucky, Irving, or Jawan Jennings. I would go Irving just because I think there might be more opportunity for him than Braylon Allen. Dan Spinkneck, need one of Rashad White, Irving, or Steele. I'll go Irving there. Melanie Arnold, full PPR flex between Cooper, Addison, Jawan Jennings, Cam Akers would be Cooper. Let's see here. Harris or Pollard for Barrold, and then Reed or Olave would be Reed. Scott, Debo, or Akers would be Debo. Colton, Irving, or Allen would be Irving. All in one show. Yeah, I'm gonna go with man, I really want to start Tyler Conklin. I don't know if I have the personal stones to do it. But I think Conklin probably has a better day. If I'm being honest, I have Kelsey ranked ahead of Conklin, but I do think Tyler Conklin's a sneaky start. So do with that information you choose all in one show. But I do probably lean Tyler Conklin by the very smallest margins that exist in whatever you want to call the human world sphere. Let's see here. Kyler or Daniels. I'll go Kyler. And then Ertz or Higgins. I would go Ertz. Pick 2, Deontay, Olave, or London. Deontay and Olave. B-Rob or Deontay Johnson. I would go Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson or Olave would be Deontay Johnson. Brent Wersinger. We've got PPR running back 2, Walker, Pollard, Ford, or Akers would be Pollard. And wide receiver 2, Olave, Shakir, JSN, Mooney would be Olave. And then Shakir. Standard scoring, start 2 between DJ Moore, Deontay Johnson, Jerome Ford. And Ford. B Coop, Caleb, or Dalton. I'll go Caleb. David, you are welcome. And yes, good luck, everybody. We are getting closer. I enter 12:15 today. It's flying today. Let's see here. Joe, Cephas, Debo, or QJ. Going Debo. Chris Olave or Michael Wilson. Olave. Ridley or Trey Tucker. Ridley. There. Trey Tucker's one of those. It seems like too cute of a start. Rob Cannon, Pickens, or Stevenson. Full point PPR would be Pickens. Yes, Patrick Mahomes or Jaden Daniels. I'd play Jaden Daniels there, Jay Gray. Cheetah or Jamison Williams for Hey Goaltender. Tyreek. Deontay Johnson or Amari Cooper. I'll go Deontay Johnson there, Tony. Higgins, Chuba, London, JSN, Ramondre. Who do I put in my flex? Would be Chuba. Pick 1 full PPR, Walker, Akers, Bucky, or Ford. I'll go Ford. For Christian Stones. Grant. Oh, that does it actually not exist? Romo, Dunze, Jennings, Wilson, or Swift. I'll go Dunze. Oh, discard. Okay. Looks like she was deleted. All right. Who do I flex here? Olave, Keenan, or D-Hop would be Olave. Love or Richardson would be Richardson. Olave or McLaurin. That I would go McLaurin. That's close enough to swing for McLaurin. BTJ or Deontay Johnson for Zay would be Deontay Johnson. Fabian Myers or Akers. I'll go Akers there. Donna Childs, Garrett Wilson, or Zach Moss. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll go Moss. Hopefully that works out for Donna, because I don't know. Nahil, Debo, or Brian Thomas. I would go Debo there for you. Glad to hear it. You are welcome. Very much so. Vibes. I agree that wavelengths are good. You know what I'm saying? If we can get people on the same page, then it seems like it's likely a good option to start. Good process. Sometimes the process doesn't outweigh the ending results. I know it sounds corny, but like it's true. And the fact is, we are here predicting the future, which is not very easy to do if you've never tried. So we got need help here. Brian Thomas or Brian Robinson, T. Higgins, Debo Samuel, Ken Walker, Shaheed, and Jameson. So I'm gonna go Debo and B Rob there. For Johnny, we got Dahir Hero, Ken Walker, or Brian Thomas Jr. / Ridley in the flex. I would go Brian Thomas Jr. Not too worried. I think he finds the end zone. I mean, if you really want to go with Brian Thomas Jr., that's fine. If you want to, but I lean towards Debo Samuel still. Akers or Moss would be Moss for me there, Luke. Purdy or Jordan Love would be Purdy for me there, Footy University. Jordan Love or Andy Dalton, I would go Love. Travis. Nick Montgomery or Olave, definitely Montgomery. Monty's just like an automatic start at this point in time. Brandon Ward, Ford or Walker, I'll go Ford. We got Asim Garino 23, Hubbard or Shakir. That would be Hubbard. Ayuk, Jacobs, or Tyreek for flex for Allen. It's going to be Tyreek. Javi, pick 2. Waddle, Jacoby Myers, Shaheed, or Ladd would be Waddle and Myers. Jason is Akers or Ford. I'll go Ford. Hurts or Fields. I'll go Hurts. Ford or Bucky Irving would be Ford, and Ridley or BTJ. I'll go BTJ. London or Olave would be Olave. Michael would be Akers or Ford. I'll go Ford. Let's see here. I also have Garrett Wilson with Cooper as my flex. I don't know if Lazard should come off the bench. I mean, I would play Lazard or Garrett Wilson. Take your pick, I guess. Lazard's in a decent spot because you're likely seeing Surtain for Wilson, but I don't know if I would start Lazard over Garrett Wilson personally, just because the upside of Garrett Wilson. Pick 1 here: Rashad White, Trey Tucker, Roshan Johnson. I'll go White for now. Roshan could be the guy next week, 100%. But I want to see a little bit more of it. My heart tacos, McLaurin or Walker would be McLaurin. Jason Quinn, Jerome Ford, JSN, DJ, or Bucky Irving. Need 1 would be Deontay Johnson. JSN or Jawan Jennings for Bryson would be JSN. Nick Ravello, Monty or Olave would be Monty. Cam Akers or Jaden Reed for Dr. Hall. I would go Reed there. Mitten Man, Gasecki, or Andrews. I'll go Andrews. DK Lingman, Roshan Johnson, Jennings, Shaheed, or Irving. I'll go Irving. I'm going to go with Shaheed there, actually. Carry Crypto, Charbonnet, or Allen. I'll go Allen. Khalil Shakir or JSN for Kathy. I'll go Shakir. Taco Buffet, need 2, Hubbard, Moss, or Stevens. Would be Hubbard and Moss. Dewey, Oriente, Rashad White, Najee Harris, Shakir, or JMO. Najee and Shakir. Shamit, Brian Robinson, or ETN. Brian Robinson. Noah, Andy Dalton, Herbert, or Anthony Richardson. I would go Anthony Richardson. Start 2 here. Terry, T, Reed, and with Love back. I would go Terry McLaurin and T Higgins personally. Yes, Love's back, but that's a tough Minnesota defense, so I'm leaning towards the other 2. Rich Harvey, 1 point PPR, need a flex, Najee, Hubbard, or Cooper. I'll go Hubbard. Maximus Italiano, Akers or Jennings would be Akers. We got match-winning star, another league. Start 1, Rashad White, Samir White, Steele, Ridley, Coleman, and Dubes. Probably go I'll probably go Ridley. There. Need to pick 2 of Dobbins, Higgins, Odunze, Shakir would be Higgins and Shakir. Pello, Baker, Love, or Darnold. Baker. Then Bucky, T, Madison, Naylor. It would be T and Bucky. Horn Frog, I can play 2 wide receivers. I already played Lamb. Choose between Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, or C. Rice. JJ and Rice. We got Corey. How would you rank these? One wide receiver, 1 flex, Deontay Johnson, London, JSN, B. Rob, K. Walker, Ford. I would say DJ and B. Rob. Odunze or Addison. I'm actually going to go Addison at this point. Justin, would you trade away Jefferson, Zamir, and Quentin Johnson for Aaron Jones? Justin, you're killing me with these trade questions. Let's see here. Dizzy, Conklin, or Laporta? I'd go Laporta. Need 2 full point PPR. Ridley, Addison, Odunze, JSN are down. I would go Ridley and JSN. My God. Sorry. Flex. Pulling them off of Twitter. Some of them aren't on there. Christian, I hit yours already, but I'll go back to it. I was going Terry and T. Higgins for you, Christian. I know Love's back and Reed is going to be probably the best receiver of that grouping, but they're still playing a tough Minnesota defense that has not been very good. T. Higgins, I think, can find the end zone. He had that opportunity last week, just failed to convert. And Terry McLaurin, I heavily cited on Terry McLaurin all offseason. And we kind of saw that come to fruition last week. So I'm going to go with that. And then Arilo Felix, JSN or Garrett Wilson. I would probably go with JSN here. It's really close because Garrett Wilson's obviously got Pat Surtain. Otherwise, it'd be Garrett Wilson, no problem. But I would go ahead and risk it with JSN on this one for you. Yep, JSN. Chestnut Checkers, Rashad White or Braylon Allen. I'd go Rashad White there still. It's been meh, but unless they get up really hard on the Broncos, I don't know if Braylon Allen gets much more than what we saw last week, which is like 8 points. Rashad White, I think, still will have some of that passing safety, still being used as a primary pass catcher for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Kyle McCarthy on X, Deontay, Scary Terry, Akers for flex would be Deontay Johnson. The Texas Longhorns X on X, Michael Wilson, Romeo Doubs, or Roshan Johnson would be Wilson. Towards starting Daniels over Hurts. Yeah, I would do that. I don't mind that. I think Jaden Daniels has enough of a rushing upside to make that play there, Jeremy, on X. Should I start Dobbins or say Flowers for Matt on X? I would go with Zay there. Kim Davis, Kelsey, or Goddard would be Goddard. Half point PPR Amari Cooper. Do I start DJ Moore, Etienne, Ken Walker, or J.K. Dobbins over him? No. Jesse Franks, Ken Walker, or Charbonnet. I'd go Ken Walker. Romeo, Debo, Keenan Allen, Rashad White, trying to fill my wide receiver and flex spot. I'd go Debo and Rashad White would be my play there. Romeo. Alrighty, that is 12:30. Today flew by. Yeah, it was cruising. So if you do have more questions and you are watching, you can go ahead, head on over to X, drop it on the Pope's FFH question thread. There's a thread going there. That's where I was pulling some of these from. And that's where I can try to get to them here as quickly as possible. But I do have to finish up all the rankings and all the back end stuff before that 1 p.m. kickoff does commence. So thank you for everybody who did stop by, answer the questions. Hopefully, good luck to all, and hopefully they all work out. And we all get those wins that we need and desperately need. If not, maybe it's a little bit of fun going on out there. But again, set on over to X. I appreciate all of you stopping in and hanging out with me for the last hour and a half. And I'll be back next week. And if you want during the week, check out ftnfantasy.com. Tons of great content over there as well, which if you're already probably tuning into this, you already know. So head on over there, check it all out. And good luck to all. And until next week, take care.